Iowa women's basketball victorious in Mackey Arena. It was not a miracle at Mackey. That's tongue-in-cheek. I'm not going to confuse anybody. If you know, you know. If you watch the Big Ten Plus broadcast, I kind of cringed at that moment when that was said, but I figured I'd throw it up here just to be snarky. Iowa women's basketball defeating unranked Purdue, a team that has been talked about as a bubble contender, even though they're well below 500 in the league and slightly below 500 overall. Jan Jensen and company win it by a final of 83-74 in spite of what I would call a lackluster second half. We're joined, as always, by Hawkeye women's basketball legend, one of the best defenders and rebounders to ever wear the black and gold, Kachine Alexander. Kachine, welcome.
Oh, good evening. That was quite the entrance there. Great.
Yeah, I'm working on it. I'm working on the intro. So, yeah, we're here. We're here talking about a 9-point win, and a win you had to have. I mean, you don't want to lose to an unranked Purdue team, although they are, and as I just said, they are a team that's surprisingly been talked about as a bubble contender. We'll look at their schedule and their resume here in just a little bit, but this is an Iowa team that jumped on the Boilers and scored 29 in the first. They were on pace for 100 in the game. Really slowed down offensively in the second half, but let's talk about that first half because that's really where this thing was won. Big Groves, our player of the game. We'll get to Big Grove's big play of the day in just a second. But this one was a little bit of a hard decision. But we are going to go with Taylor Stremlow because she had 19 points, all of which came in the first half. 7 of 10 from the field, 5 of 6 from 3. Also added 3 rebounds. I'm going to get rid of that. That's an incorrect stat here. 3 assists along with 8 No, that's not right either. Why are these stats turned around? 8 assists, 3 rebounds. Am I right? Those are the stats, right, Kachine? Anyways,
look for you. How about that?
I'm pretty sure that's accurate. But she was really good during that stretch, and she was a bit unconscious from 3. We haven't seen that from. Those are correct. Mm-hmm. We have not seen that from Taylor in a while, but it was really nice to see. And she has played better since she was inserted into the starting lineup. But the reason I'm going with T. Strem over Ava Hayden is just because it was that burst in the first half, which was led by Taylor Stremlow, that put Iowa on top. And that was what Purdue was never able to recover from.
I can agree with that statement. I would have picked Stremlow as well. For that exact reason, actually. So, yes.
Sometimes a basket looks big. How do you explain the shooting night here from Taylor Stremlow?
Taylor is one of those people. A coach told me this a long time ago. It was like a saying, like, she's like a microwave. She heats up fast. Like, it's one of those things that when she catches fire, it's like she can't miss. However, we had to have a halftime where she cooled down.
Well, she didn't cool down, okay? She did not cool down. She just didn't shoot.
All the same.
Well, it's not all the same. She didn't shoot. I think there's a difference between someone who has looks in the first, takes them and makes them, and then later in the game does not have looks and does not hunt shots. Isn't there also something good to be said for someone who doesn't hunt shots just because they've been hitting?
Yes, but that doesn't mean you stop being aggressive. I mean, you were hitting, so that means you have a clear lane at that point. I felt like she just stopped being aggressive, in my opinion.
Okay.
So regardless of if Purdue does their job, right, and they make the adjustment, she doesn't get any more threes. Well, that means she should have a wide open lane then. Because they have to be on you at that point. And I feel like Taylor is good enough that she could have driven past them and got into the paint, but she didn't do that. And so in my mindset, it's two things. One, you're still trying to hit threes in your brain. And because you're not open, you don't shoot. You don't actually try to be aggressive. I would have preferred her to be like, okay, that's fine. Take away the three. I'm going to drive it to the basket now. I would have preferred to see that. But again, she had a great first half. I don't really have any complaints of sorts.
But you probably, and I'm not going to argue with you on that. You probably, as a coach, sit her down in the film room after this game and say, man, you are cooking T, but in the second half, like, we need you to do this, this, and this, because we got to ride that.
Yes.
Right? Like, I'm part of it.
People are going to make adjustments. Duh.
It was like 2000.
You think they're just going to let you keep shooting?
Yeah, exactly. And the mentality has to be there. So 2015, I remember it was in Hilton Coliseum, and I was in person to watch Jared Utoff score 30 on a Fred Hoiberg coach Cyclones team, only to totally disappear in the second. Not because he started missing, just because like he just disappeared. Like there were no shots. He didn't take shots. And yes, they adjusted, but you got to play through that, and great players find a way to still be effective. Now, Stremlow did finish with 8 assists. I mean, she is one of my favorite players to watch on this team, Kachine, not just because her three-point shot, we've said from day one this season, her three-point shot has really improved from last year, and she's got really good vision. She is usually a very aggressive player. Sometimes it gets her into trouble with turnovers, and she's tough, right? But at times she can be a little bit like a roller coaster, a little bit inconsistent. We saw that from the first half to the second. On the flip side of this, Chit Chat Wright, who has been steady Eddie from the get-go this year, something's going on with her tonight. I don't, I know we can just.
For one.
She was what?
She was due for one.
You think that's all it is?
Like one of those days where it just ain't nothing hitting. I mean, she was missing free throws, more or less.
Right.
And the thing that made me okay in the sense is because she didn't stop shooting. Like when it's a mental thing or whatever the case is, like something's actually going on, you see a player just disappear. She didn't disappear. She kept shooting. She was trying to get out of that shooting slump. So that's what I was like, okay, she's recognizing that she's not the ball's not coming off her hands well, et cetera. But the only way to do that is to shoot it out. You don't have another choice. So that was promising to see it. At first I was like, what is happening? But then as I watched the game, I'm like, okay, it's just one of those days. And she knows it is. So she's trying to, get the feel back. But I'm not reading into it.
So the reason I read into it a little bit is because of the free throw shooting. Because normally it seems to me that the good to great players, when they have an off night, especially those that, they're good free throw shooters, and that's usually what we're talking about, because guys around the rim can get to the line and get layups, dunks, get other people involved out of the post. But the reason I bring up Chit Chat is the free throw shooting. I mean, to see a good shooter not just miss wide open threes, but to see her miss free throw. I think she started like 2 of 6 from the line.
She missed everything. Free throws, mid-range, threes. She missed everything she was shooting.
That's why I read into it a little bit, that like maybe there's something else going on here. Certainly hope not, but you are not too worried about that, it doesn't seem.
No, not with that. No, I honestly speaking, it's one of those. She's going to be in the gym as soon as she can be, just to get the feel back. But I don't know. I'm not. Shooters have that all the time.
A lot of comments like this. Jay Lawrence, this will go down as a win, but feels like a loss. That's interesting. I don't feel that way.
Yo, I need y'all to think about who we had to play today.
Well, that's true.
When I say who we had to play, I'm talking about our bench.
Yeah. I understand.
Okay.
I understand.
And for significant minutes at that. We're not even. So this is a win in my book.
Well, they have we've talked about this, but they have no depth before.
No. And then to know Hannah was out, and then Journey got in foul trouble. Ava got in foul trouble. Layla got in foul trouble. I'm like, oh, Jesus. Like, at this point, we were literally playing two people we don't want to play, mind you, 10 plus minutes. That's a lot of time.
Might I just say, this is no disrespect to any specific player, but if they have to go to the extremes they went to tonight as it relates to rotations, they will lose to a lot of teams. And here's the deal. They didn't, like you were talking about foul trouble for Journey. They had built a pretty good sized lead. But if that
and then who they put in?
Well, Tegan Mulaney played a lot of minutes tonight. She played a lot of minutes. Given
who else they have in?
Well, we didn't see Callie. We saw a lot of Journey.
No, Layla.
Layla played a lot. Yeah, I mean, it's
because I was trying to figure out what in the hell Coach J was doing at one point. I'm like, what are we doing? Hello. Get these people out of here because the nice cushy 20 plus point lead was like dwindling, and I'm like, that's enough. That's enough.
Yeah, I agree with you on this. In fact, I messaged you at that point. You and I had not talked at all, and I just sent you a quick text. It was like, hey, what's Coach J doing here? Why are you playing? First of all, when she first put Layla, Tegan, and Addie in at the same time, I'm thinking,
horrible.
That's odd. I don't understand that. And then the lead gets all the way down to 11. And then she decides to sub. And keep in mind, I mean, Iowa was up by, were they up by like, I don't have the final box score yet, but it was close to 30, wasn't it? At one point.
20 something, I know that.
Yeah. And so, boy, that's waiting a long time because, yeah, I mean, can your starters fend off a run? Sure. But isn't there something, especially when you're on the road, Kachine, you give the other team that's an underdog belief. And that snowball starts rolling down the hill. It can be hard to stop even with your starters at that point.
Correct. Now you're asking your starters to climb a hill because at the end of the day, they're coming in cold, right, from the bench. And you've got a hot team that just went on a whatever run. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's always tough, which is I'm glad we were able to withstand it. Of course, we have an easy bucket in the paint with Ava. That's always helpful. Yeah. Right, like so, because I think one of the first buckets when she made the sub was Ava in the post. So I think we've always said that one of Coach J's weaknesses is her substitution. This is not a fact. This is a fact. This is not an exaggeration of any sort. That is definitely one of her weaknesses. And I think that this could have gotten ugly if Purdue was a tad bit better, right? Like just a little bit. I'm not asking them to be great, just a little bit. Or if some of those shots decided to fall in that sense. So my only thing is I understand that we are down. Hannah's like two people at this point because she plays the 4 and the 5. So without her, you lose 2 positions,
right?
In my opinion.
And she also happens to play at a position where they have the least amount of depth of any position, right?
So technically speaking, like you're losing 2 people in that scenario. And I think you have to be very careful about the combinations you put together.
Yeah.
You cannot, under any circumstances, put Addie Deal, Layla Hayes, Callie Levine, and or Tegan Mulaney, 3 of them, 4 of them on the court at the same time, unless we up by 30 and it's 2 minutes left.
Yeah, I agree.
Otherwise, the most you could do at a time is 2 of any combination of those 4 people. That's it. And so immediately when I saw that, I was like, oh, Jesus, okay. All right.
Is it possible, and I'm just throwing this out there, is it possible that Jan is, because I have to think that Jan was instrumental in rotational lineup decisions during her entire time under Lisa Bluter's leadership. Is it possible that she is relying on maybe an inexperienced assistant coach to make some of these changes right now, Kachine?
Maybe. I mean, the one thing I will say from from knowledge is Coach J was solely responsible for the post substitutions when I was playing. So I don't know how they're doing their substitutions now. What I do know is it needs to be seriously evaluated. That's what I will say. Because substitutions can make or break you. You can lose a game off of substitutions. So I don't know. I commend the girls, period, for withstanding a run on, Purdue's home court. They're going to make a run. That's basketball. Okay, we've seen it worse. We've seen it come all the way back, right? So I commend them. It's hard to win on the road. I don't care who you are. Yep. I don't even care if Purdue had 0 wins. They've won. They've beaten some decent Big Ten teams.
And they are the bracketologists say they're on the bubble. Like, that's what's crazy about this. They were on the bubble. So this was a big game for them. If they could knock off Iowa, I mean, we're talking late.
Yeah, that would have been huge for them for sure.
All right, we got a couple of people who are on the phone line, a couple of ways to interact on the show. As always, you can call our phone line at 515-635-1601. That's 515-635-1601. You can also dial in by StreamYard. The link is in our live chat and in the description. We are, of course, joined by former Hawkeye women's basketball guard Kachine Alexander to recap Iowa's 83-74 win at Mackey Arena in West Lafayette. Let's go to our phone line. Thank you for calling Iowa Postgame with Kachine Alexander. Who's on the line?
Hello.
Hello, you're on the air with Cash.
Can you hear me?
We got you.
Yep.
Awesome. Hi, it's Brian from Minneapolis.
Hey, Brian.
Hi.
Hey, I'm wearing my AirPods today. I don't know if it'll sound any better on your end.
You sound crystal clear on my end.
Awesome. I don't know and don't want to speculate too much, but in the lead up to this game, Jan didn't mention anything about Hannah. So I don't know if that was a last minute decision. I don't know if they said, let's put her in glass and save it for Michigan. But, we saw with McCabe, it took them 3 games to kind of work their way around that. If Hannah was a decision close to game time, then it's understandable that, Iowa went out gangbusters, but if they got clunky, you might, that just might have been a circumstance of the loss of a major starter.
Yeah, we didn't talk about the injury to Hannah, and hopefully Jan will get that question in the postgame presser. I don't know who traveled to West Lafayette, but upper body sounds like perhaps it occurred in their last game against Nebraska, Kachine. So, Brian, thanks for bringing that up. But, just the impact there, not just from a rotation standpoint, because you brought up depth and those issues, Cash, but not having her in there on the glass, not having her energy in the full court. She might be the most important player in this team.
My only question, and maybe someone knows its answer, is do we know that it was a Nebraska game?
The University of Iowa actually released a statement. Let me see if I can pull that up. They did release some form of a statement. I'll try to confirm that, but
she hit the ground, or she hit the court hard at the end of that Nebraska game at one point. I remember going kind of, ooh, like when she hit the ground, and she went out for a while, but then she came back in. So the hope was she was okay.
Right. Yep. She went down and kind of, she was visibly in pain. Kachine, I don't know if you remember that play against the Huskers, but
I do.
Yeah, I'll try to find that statement. But go ahead, Brian. Did you have something for Kachine?
Oh, no. Well, I guess my only other, obviously the Taylor Stremlow is a huge impact in the first half, and obviously padded that lead. But the 5 points in a row from Eddie Deal was a nice little ray of sunshine, and maybe that will kind of ease some of the struggles she's had lately. She took that 3 with confidence.
Yeah, I mean, they need her to make open shots and to be someone they can turn to. I mean, that's as well as Stremlow has played here in these last couple of games. There's a reason why, even though Cash, you were critical of it, I was skeptical on it. There's a reason why Addie Deal drew the start at one point, because some people thought she was their best. Well, I mean, whether you agree with it, there were some people that legitimately thought that she was the best option to fill in for Taylor McCabe at the 2. So the point being, yes, Stremlow's been good, but they need depth there. They don't have depth at the 2 either. They're just as thin. You could argue they're almost just as thin at the 2 as they are at the 4. Now, the difference is you can kind of toy with the guard spots and move people around a little bit, mix and match, and you really can't do that with Layla and Ava. They kind of are natural 5s. So, but it was good to see Addie kind of get off the schneid tonight. Kachine, she finished with, 8 points? Let me pull up her final numbers. So she finished with 5 points, 2 of 3 from the field, 3 assists, 1 turnover, but she didn't force anything, let the game come to her. And, that's going to be her role down the stretch if Stremlow continues to play as well as she is.
Yep. I mean, honestly speaking, with her, it's going to be game by game. So we'll see what she brings next game.
There was nobody at that game. I mean, nope. I know we've said that before, but some of these road crowds are still, as much as as women's basketball.
No, that was horrible.
Grown. Yeah, like some of these crowds are still pathetic on the road. All right. And that was a pretty bad crowd tonight, Brian.
Absolutely. I guess my only last comment, and I'll let the other callers jump in, but suddenly that loss to Minnesota doesn't look quite so bad anymore. They just cooked Ohio State, and they're right on Iowa's heels, I think, for that double bye.
Minnesota's good.
So, I've become a Minnesota fan recently.
Yeah, they're looking to host potentially.
Yeah.
So no, that's not. I mean, you never want to lose at home, but and the way they lost should have woken them up defensively. Perhaps it did. They've been much better on the defensive end since. But no, that's a good Minnesota team.
Yeah. It always seems like some rando on Minnesota will just cook Iowa for both the men and the women. But I think that Mara Braun was like terrible from 3, and then she like lit up against Iowa, and now they're clicking. So it'll be interesting. I know Price Sanford got chanted against mercilessly.
Yeah.
But do you think there's going to be any hate for Leah Guyton when Illinois comes to town?
Absolutely.
Oh, man.
Unfortunately, as it may be.
I don't want to comment on that, because if I comment on that, somebody will call me a hypocrite. And
yeah, but the fans are going to. Period.
No, I don't know. Did the fan, Brian? I wasn't at Carver last night. Were the fans?
You don't think so?
Wait a minute. Were the fans chanting or the students chanting? I believe the students. In general, it was the students that were chanting. And will there be a student crowd tomorrow or against Illinois? Yes. It will not be as the student crowds at the women's games are not typically as rowdy as the men's crowds. That's my experience. The crowd as a whole is better, right? But I don't think.
Yeah, but I don't think women's basketball is going to be nasty about it. But they are going to cheer louder.
Well, they were chanting F. Price Sanford last night.
No, that's not what I'm saying. That's never going to happen. Then? Men's basketball is always more raunchier than women's.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
We're not talking about that. But the fans are going to cheer louder if she makes a mistake, if somebody steals the ball from her, something of the sort. They're going to cheer louder than they would normally. That is a fact.
Sure.
But they're not going to be hurling stuff at her verbally. Like, no, I don't see that. But they're definitely going to boo her or do whatever they want to do in that aspect for sure.
I'm not going to be a hypocrite here. I'm fine with the booing. I said that last night about Price. Now the difference, Brian, from a perception standpoint, is Price Sanford's having an all Big Ten level year. Aaliyah Guyton is struggling to do anything for Illinois. So I don't know what the point. Like, was Aaron Eulis, was he ever booed when he played for Hoiberg briefly? I don't think he probably ever really got booed. That should be the reception from Iowa fans. I believe. I used the term gamesmanship a couple of nights ago and last night. I believe that's gamesmanship. Price Sanford got booed last night, Brian, because Iowa fans are angry that he didn't stay. Iowa fans recognize how much he could help that team. That's kudos and credit to him. And yeah, you're angry about the fact that he left, but it's kudos to him for being a guy that you're willing to exude that level of energy to boo.
Sure. But if you look at the circumstances, it was much more understandable that Sanford would leave when Fran got fired.
Why is it much more understandable? Why is it much more understandable? Wait, than Aaliyah Guyton going back home to play in her home state? I'm just curious.
Because you've been home. You could have went there to begin with.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sure
Price could have gone
to way more than me.
Price could have gone to Lincoln to play for Holbrook.
I understand. But the point is that fans feel like he gave up on Iowa, right? I understand the point of there's a new coach. Most people never stay when there's a new coach. That's a normal occurrence. Most people don't stay. They enter the portal, they go somewhere else, whatever the case is. That's normal. But Aaliyah's situation is a little bit different in my mind. I know she wanted to go home, and I get that. But in my opinion, this is just my opinion, is that Iowa stood by you when you had a torn ACL. They could have left you, but they didn't do that. They stood by you. You came to the same coach that you knew you was gonna have, right? This decision was made. Then you played a ton of minutes your freshman year, and then you dipped when it was convenient. So to me, that's a little bit different than Price, because most people leave when a coach gets fired. That's a fact. That is like that always happens.
The problem I have with what you're saying, and I understand what you're saying, but there's another variable here as well. Price was an in-state kid, right? He's a Des Moines kid. Aaliyah Guyton is not from the state of Iowa. So I guess I'm just saying, like, even if you
he did go to a rival school, but
he went to well, you could argue Illinois is sort of a rival in basketball, but in the women's game, it really isn't. So I guess my point bringing that up is if you just kind of slash it down the middle, right? They both started at Iowa. Both started at Iowa. So each has an opportunity. Yes, I know Aaliyah Guyton's coach didn't leave, but Aaliyah Guyton did commit to Bluter, technically speaking. She committed to Bluter and then stuck with it through the ACL. So I would argue with you, Kachine, that her head coach left too. She really didn't have a choice coming out of high school, and you've acknowledged that in the past year.
She didn't have a choice. Her recruitment could have been opened up again. As soon as the coach leaves, you can go.
She tore her ACL. There weren't schools knocking down.
You're proving my point in regards that she used Iowa.
Well,
she didn't have nowhere else to go.
Yeah, she used Iowa, but
so we could have left her stranded somewhere.
Well, they could have retracted her offer. Her.
But we didn't do that because we are Iowa and we are nice people. So we ain't do that. You know what I'm saying? We kept her. Right. We kept our commitment.
I understand.
To her. See what I'm saying?
I understand.
Yeah.
I'm not going to argue this point. I think we're on totally different pages here. Go ahead, Brian.
Oh, no. I love the back and forth there. I don't know that I have much to add. I do agree that when Fran got fired, that it's very understandable why Josh Dix would go to Creighton, and who's the big that went to Creighton with him too? I can't think of his name. He was really good.
Yeah, we could run through all these examples. I don't know if people want to do this on a women's show, but Owen Freeman left, and Ben McCollum didn't make any effort to recruit him. Ben McCollum made a concerted effort to recruit Price Sanford, Cooper Koch, and Josh Dix. Josh Dix's mom, thoughts and prayers to the Dix family, just lost his mother. His mother's been sick with cancer. They are from Council Bluffs. Totally understandable. Cooper Koch stayed. Price is the one guy that decided to leave and go to play for a rival and he's from the state of Iowa. Now he's got a connection to Hoiberg. I'm not blaming him for that. So, yeah, there's just a lot of variables with both players.
Sure. I'll just put a bow on this and then we can move on. Okay. Is the Guyton situation different just because the women don't lose players? The women's team typically keeps them, and it's very, very rare. No one left when Jan took over, right? So it's a unique situation where maybe with the men it's not quite so much.
I don't believe that's the case because what's her face that went to Creighton, Jensen, that became an all Big East player, she left, and nobody had. I don't remember people being resentful toward her. Why weren't people resentful toward her, Kachine? Jensen. What was her first name? Somebody want to remind me of what her first name was? The all Big Ten guard that went to Creighton a couple of years ago.
We didn't need her.
So there's the difference. It had nothing to do with the person. It had to do with your needs. The perception when Aaliyah Guyton left was that.
Well, Jensen didn't play. Like, so nobody was like, everybody was like, okay, she left to get playing time, this, that, and the third. She went to wherever she went, Creighton, right?
Creighton,
whatever. Yeah. She went to Creighton. Okay, she wasn't playing. Anytime anybody doesn't play, I understand because who wants to sit on the bench? Like, nobody wants to do that. But Guyton was expected to take over next year, and then you left. So it's like it just kept stacking. Like in that scenario, again, Price. I'm not saying that him going to Nebraska was the greatest idea because it is a rival. If Fred Hoiberg was somewhere else, he probably would have went there.
Yeah,
I don't think he went for Nebraska. He went for Fred. So
right,
where
I agree.
He was going.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, it just happened to be Nebraska. He wanted to play for that coach.
But that was still his decision. He actively made that decision. I'm going to go play for a very heated Iowa rival, and he has every right to do it.
He didn't think about all that. He wanted to play for Fred. He don't care about none of that.
He's going to think about it when they're booing.
When
they're booing, he's going to think about it.
After the fact, I'm sure he's like, well, hell, this is going to be interesting when I go back there. Of course.
Yeah. But
wherever Fred was, he'd been in Timbuktu. He would have been there.
Good debate. Brian, thanks for calling in, sir. Any parting shot?
Yeah. You guys are the best.
Thank you, sir.
Take care. Have a great one.
You as well. All right. We've got a couple of super chats coming in here. One from VMS says, glad we didn't look past this game for Michigan this weekend. No, I certainly don't think that's what happened. If anything, Kachine, do you believe there was a part of Iowa on the road tonight that got up big? And then I know part of it was maybe rotations, lack of depth, foul trouble, but you start to kind of get a little lackadaisical. That's your favorite word down the stretch. Is some of that what happened tonight, being up by 27, 28, whatever the largest lead was?
No, I say this a lot. It's very hard to sometimes play like that. We are a young team, and I thought my first thought was when we did get up so early, I was like, okay, let's see how we do, because I know that being young can show itself at times. And I think part of being young showed itself in Taylor Stremlow. I could see she got very lackadaisical at times. She got kind of like showy because she was hitting. We was winning by God knows how much. And a lot of the times, younger players don't understand that each play stacks. So you can compound bad mistake on bad mistake on bad mistake, and now it becomes a bigger one. So I think that for us, mixed with being down 2 people with Hannah, mixed with the fact that we got up so early. I'm never a fan of super early, especially with the young teams, because you get nervous. Because now you got to withstand that. And that's a different type of mentality that you have to be up big early and continue to stay big. And I'm not sure we've learned that lesson just yet. That might come with time. Who knows? And then chit chat was off too. So like that. All of those things on top of each other didn't serve us very well.
Doug Fuller with the super sticker. Thank you, Doug. Very much appreciate your support. I know you've been here for quite some time, so thank you for donating to the show in this way. And Bo says, why does Jan not push the hot hand? Stremlow is on fire, then she disappears in the second half. Wouldn't she say, keep feeding her? It's a good question. How much of the disappearing act that we saw from the Strem show was because of coaching?
0%. She's a point guard. She has a ball in her hands. What do you mean? The same way she got them shots in the first half, we weren't running plays for her.
Well, you can run plays for somebody that's hot.
I understand, but we weren't running plays before. So what do we need to run them for now?
Yeah.
Just do what you're supposed to do. She started, in my opinion, I feel like Taylor Stremlow fell in love with the 3 and was settling for the 3 in the second half. And when I say settling, she clearly didn't take, she only took one. That's my point. When she was guarded, she didn't have any other option because she wanted to shoot the ball so bad. That's usually what happens.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that a little bit. I mean, she was 5 of 6. Now, credit to
She
her.
was 5 of 6. She want to feel it. She feeling it.
She wasn't
And then
taking. She didn't force threes. I'll give her credit for that.
No, which I'll give her credit.
Yeah,
I'll give her credit for that.
I think Bo's talking about the debate between Sanford and Guyton, those two situations. He says that's for the fans to decide. LOL. So, yeah,
we'll find out.
Yeah, we will. I'm not going to ask you about the Hoiberg situation last night. Well, maybe I will later in the show. I may ask you later in the show. Did you see the video with Fred Hoiberg last night, Kachine?
Is this the one with the fan?
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Okay, you did see it. So why are you acting when I say the question?
I had to think. I was like, what is he talking about? Fred Hoiberg? Did I miss something?
And the talk of everybody, at least.
My bad.
All right. We've got Jay Smith on the line. Jay, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for calling.
Just quick question.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's a question that's asked every week or every game. Are there no minutes for Callie Levine?
I knew that was going to get asked tonight. I wasn't going to be the one to ask it.
No, and I asked it for you. I'm just trying to figure out 2 or 3 minutes, bad stretch here and there on defense, and I'll kind of hang up here.
Sure.
I can't quite figure it out.
No, thank you, Jay. Appreciate the call. Let me just say this, and then Cash, you weigh in. My first reaction to that was, well, they don't have. They have this great need at the 4. Stremlow's hitting, right? So
is Kylie, technically.
Kylie was hitting early, right? Chit Chat's needed even when she's not hitting, right?
Correct.
Because she is your lead guard.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess what I would say in response to that is the only criticism I would have, I think the one thing I would attribute it to, I think is probably the biggest thing at play, was that Taylor Stremlow was so hot in that first half. So you're not going to take, you're going to play Chit Chat a lot. Deal's going to take some of those minutes. And then in the second half, you can't give up on Stremlow with how she played in the first half offensively. The other facet of all this, I believe, is you could have potentially adjusted the lineups, and you tell me what you think, because Purdue doesn't have crazy size. Like they do play a big, girthy 5. Is that okay for me to say? They've got some girthy 5s. But could you potentially play somebody unorthodox at the 4? I know it's going to sound crazy, but are there certain times where you could slide Stremlow to the 4? You tell me I'm wrong, because if you do that, then that opens time for maybe more guards, and that eliminates the need to play certain players at the 4 that you're not comfortable playing. But they don't really have a ton of, they don't have Emily Rodriguez, who's got length, who probably could log minutes at the 4. Their guards are really true guards. You're not going to play Levine, Chit Chat, Kylie, Addie at the 4. So Stremlow might be your one option there.
I thought about that during the game, but I noticed they haven't practiced that. So that's not an option. I don't think that was anywhere in their brain in regards to potentially playing Stremlow at the 4. I think she's done that once in her career, a couple times, if I remember correctly, last year. But no. I wouldn't do that, because now Stremlow it takes her out of her rhythm being at the 4. I understand that offensively you can be whatever you want to be, but that does take you out of the rhythm. So I don't think that would have been an option tonight anyways. In regards to Callie, I think it was hard because both Stremlow and Kylie were hitting today in that aspect, so that makes it kind of difficult. And with Addie hasn't been super playing well, but you want to get her back going. She's obviously your first guard off the bench. I don't know where you put her. Also, if you go with my logic of those 4 and not playing more than 2, that hurts you, because now Tegan Mulaney has to play the 4, Layla has to play the 5 because they were in together a few times. You have no other option. There's nobody else that can come in out of those 4 people that I said. Deal, none of them can come in. So it makes it harder in that aspect. Now, I do think that we do need to find potentially game-oriented some minutes for her. Like I said before, I think the Kylie, that's going to throw me off. Callie can be interchangeable, in my opinion. So I do think they need to find one, but this game was very hard with the lack of positions that we had available tonight, unfortunately.
Daleb in the chat brings up that Purdue has 0 quad 1 wins. That's why they needed this game so desperately. I saw them in bubble conversation here recently, but now, I mean, they're 4-11. They're, I think, at least 2 games under 500 overall. Yeah, you're not getting in without quad 1 wins. I don't know what their schedule is down the stretch. They've played good teams. They've had a couple of wins. I'll pull up their schedule here in just a second. But no, they're not in the tournament. But I don't want to make no mistake to what I said earlier. But they have been in bubble conversation. But yeah, it's the league's going to go deep, but probably not that deep. We had Kayla on the line, but she logged off here. So we'll wait to see if Kayla comes back with us. She was next in our queue. Lomansky reminding everybody to hit the thumbs up button. We do appreciate that reminder. And if you're listening on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, wherever you listen to your daily podcast, be sure you give us a 5-star review. And just leave us a like. We appreciate that support. All right. Same thing for Bob. He says, Corey, are they really a bubble team? Not tonight from what I saw. Well, they did make a valiant comeback. I will give them credit because in that first half, I'm watching and I'm thinking, this team looks horrible. But they did fight. Give them some credit, right? Kachine on their home court.
Yeah, of course.
Their postseason opportunities are dwindling. If you don't win, you don't start winning games. And, they did fight, but it was too big of a hole to dig themselves out of. ZJ says, Kachine, 2010 Big Ten tournament, all-tournament team.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
How far did you guys go in that tournament?
2010. That is the year we got robbed in the championship against Ohio State.
Oh, okay. Sorry to bring it up.
No, it's okay. They called a blocking foul. There's a couple things in the game that they got wrong. They actually, you know how those they come out after the fact and apologize for the terrible calls that shouldn't have been terrible.
Yeah.
That don't help me now.
Right.
But yeah, so that's what it is. 0.7. 0.7 from a championship. Isn't that something?
0.7
seconds left.
Wow.
When they called that or block, whatever.
Super chat from Mike Nunn. What positions can Waz play next year? Of course, he's talking about McKenna Velichko.
4.
That's going to be her spot, right?
No, if you are saying potentially, maybe 3. But from all I know is she can play the 4.
Could she
proves otherwise?
Could she potentially end up being a rim running 5 like Hannah? I'm not saying long term, but I'm saying in spots. Does she have the athleticism to do that potentially in certain places?
Maybe. Those are all potential. I know for a fact 4, 3, 5 is up in there.
And they got so much need at the 4 anyways. So
exactly.
Unbelievable amount of need at the 4.
Yeah.
Mike, thank you for the super chat. Let's go back to our phone line. Thank you for calling Iowa Postgame with Kachine Alexander. Who's on the line?
Hello.
Hello, you're on the air. All right, we'll come back to you. Thank you for calling Iowa Postgame with Kachine Alexander. Who's on the line?
Hey, this is John.
Hey, John.
How can the women only get 15 teams into the Big Ten tournament where the men get 18 teams?
Well, the men, I don't know. The men got 15 in last year, right? The bottom 3 didn't make it. So someone had to tell me mid-season, John. I didn't even know the men got all 18 in this year. So, I mean, why did the women play 4 quarters and the men play 2 halves? I really don't know. Do you have any insight on that, Cash?
My assumption is they're trying something, and they're not going to change both, so they're changing one. It's usually how they do it.
I seen somewhere where they said that 12 Big Ten teams will probably make it into the tournament. If you had to guess, how many would you guys guess make it in?
I'd have to look at the Big Ten standings.
Yeah, pull that up because
Let me look at the Big Ten standings real quick, and then we'll answer your question, John. Do you have anything else?
Nope.
All right. Well, let's pull up the Big Ten standings, and we'll answer that question. So obviously, we know who the locks are in this league. I'll share my screen so everybody can see it. If you haven't looked at the updated Big Ten standings, here they are. So, well, maybe. There we go. All right. So UCLA, Michigan, Iowa, Minnesota, Ohio State, Michigan State, Washington, I would say, are all locks at this point. I'm no bracketologist, and Maryland. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
That's 8.
And then after that, I would expect USC 9, Illinois, without looking specifically at the resumes, 10. And
I'm not going any further than that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Oregon. They're in consideration. Well, they have to be in consideration. They're 18-9. Cash.
Yeah, but
I mean, my guess is 11. And Purdue sitting here at 12-14. Like I say, they're just in the same boat that Nebraska and Wisconsin are. It's like you're running out of time. You got to go on a run now because you got to climb close. I would have to think it's similar as the men's league. You got to get close to 500 in league play. I mean, all those teams are hovering around 500 overall. But you got to get close to 500 in league play. And if you get 500 in league play, you're going to be well over 500 overall. So I'm going to guess, I think Cash is settling on 10. I'm going to go 11.
Yeah. I'm at 10. If it was today.
That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, John. All right, let's go back to our other caller. Thank you for calling Iowa Postgame with Kachine Alexander. Are you on the line with us?
Uh-oh.
Should we call him back, Cash?
Who is that?
I don't know.
Call back.
Where did you go? Here you are. All right. Maybe it was Kayla. Maybe Kayla tried to phone. I don't know what's going on. We've had two people, one person drop off, and we just lost our other person on the phone line. Let's see. This is always fun to call people back, isn't it? Let's just do it real quick. We got like 700. Hello, you're on the air with Iowa Postgame with Kachine Alexander.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
We got you loud and clear.
Okay. Hey, I am not Kayla.
All right.
But hopefully I can do as well as she does, you know.
Well, we'll evaluate. We'll evaluate after the fact. Go ahead.
Okay. I just wanted to say that I feel more comfortable with this win than I did with Washington. With Hannah Stalky being out and a big, basically, you know, I don't want to be mean or anything, but a nothing burger from Chit Chat and Addie Deal that, you know, either of them really did much tonight. I mean, you know, I feel pretty confident that, I mean, it was still like a 20-point game in my eyes, you know?
Yeah, that's a positive approach. I mean, you got to give them credit for building the lead that they built, and they did it on the backs of people that normally they're not able to rely on them. If you had told us heading into this game, Kachine, that Ava Hayden would be in foul trouble, Hannah Stalky wouldn't play, and oh, by the way, Chit Chat Wright would maybe have her worst game as a Hawk, I think a lot of us would say Iowa might lose that game. But instead, they were up, 26 was their largest lead of the game.
Agreed.
Oh, did you lose me?
We got you?
No.
Oh, I heard the music come back on. Just my other question is, I see a lot of people are commenting on Stremlow kind of disappearing in the second half. So my question to you guys is because I'm pretty sure she came out and shot a couple threes to start the second half and missed and kind of quit shooting. Is she one that shoots through a little bit of a slump in a game and tries to go for 40, or is she one that tries to get her other teammates involved again after she goes cold?
It's a good question, Kachine.
I don't even know if I would say she went cold. If I'm not mistaken, she only shot once the whole second half.
Yeah, that's one of the announcers made that comment that Stremlow continues her ice cold half. I'm like, wasn't that her first attempt?
Yeah.
I'm like, come on now.
But I don't. Stremlow's not the type to just keep shooting it if she's not hitting. She doesn't have that kind of confidence yet.
That's kind of my take on it. Is like when you've got Chit Chat and you've got Ava Hayden, and usually you've got Hannah Stalky that are like the main scorers. You know, if you go off for a hot half and then you come out, and I don't know that if it was 1 or 2 shots, I guess, but you know, I did notice she missed a 3 right at the beginning of the second half and then didn't really shoot much after that. You know, is that a you know, I'm just trying to ask it in a way that people understand. Is Taylor Stremlow the one that we're looking for to shoot through a shooting slump like we would be for Chit Chat? Or, you know, if she comes out and misses a couple, does she, you know, resort to doing other things?
I don't think Taylor is in the category of a Chit Chat or a Taylor McCabe yet. I think I don't think she's one of those. Like, I don't think I would tell myself, keep shooting. I wouldn't tell her that.
Right.
Not saying
so
that
that's
she
kind of what I'm. That's kind of what I'm
saying.
She had a hot half, and then everybody's like, "Oh, she disappeared," and it's like we kind of take what we can get from Stremlow. She averages 7-8 points a game, and people are out here to, you know, they're expecting her to, you know, almost, you know, try to kind of go for 40 or something. And it's like she put up 19 in the first half. She came out.
Hey, real quick. When you finish, when you finish 5 of 6 in the first half, I'd like to see you finish with more than 6 3-point attempts. That's all I'm saying.
I understand that 100%.
To some extent,
and I get it.
I'm okay with a heat. I'm okay with a heat check. That's okay.
So,
I mean, you know, I don't want her forcing shots, but.
So we would have liked to see maybe 3 or 4 more attempts from Stremlow to kind of confirm that she went cold.
I don't think that she didn't have any open looks. I think that's what we're missing here is Purdue locked her down from the 3-point line in the second half. There was not one time where I felt like Taylor, she should have shot that. Not one time did I say that to myself. But what I will say,
that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I didn't really, you know, I didn't notice her passing up shots or anything either.
No, she didn't.
You know,
but what I will say is that I don't think she put the ball on the floor enough in the second half. She needed to do that. They were all over her. So you should have an easier driving lane. And I think she settled to be open at the 3, which is why she went cold. Quote unquote.
I got you.
By the way, Cash, most of the chat agrees with you on the whole Guyton Sanford thing.
Oh.
Most of the chat agrees with you, which is not a surprise. They usually agree with you, which is fine. But this is bringing me back to the day when I was in Omaha and we debated on the Clark Sturts thing. So let's not go back there. But anyways, anything else, caller?
No, just with the Callie Levine thing.
Yeah.
She's not getting very many minutes, and you know, she seems to be a pretty high talking point in the show. I'm with some other commenters on the fact that, you know, there really wasn't a better game towards the end of the season here to get, you know, Layla, and I don't know that they plan to play Tegan over Callie. I mean, it's kind of looking that way, I guess, and I guess they've got their reasons, but you know, the chat's been talking about having Layla and Tegan and Addie all on the floor at the same time. I mean, I don't know that I would have done them all at the same time, but honestly, I don't think there's really a better game or a better situation to get them any meaningful minutes.
Yeah, I don't
before
think,
the postseason.
I don't believe at this point, with all the injuries, I don't believe the debate really comes down to Callie versus Tegan. It's all positional, unless what we just talked about is employed by the coaches during practice. If they figure out a way to play a guard at the 4, whether that's Stremlow or I think it's Stremlow, because Tegan's not playing a guard position and Callie's not playing a forward spot. I mean, that's the easiest way for me to explain that, Kachine. I mean, Tegan's going to
let's be honest. There's going to be a time where we get the goose egg Kylie. She can play then. It's going to happen.
Yeah, and Kylie did play fine tonight.
Yeah, so she played well. So you got to leave her where she is. But there will be a game where Kylie gives you nothing.
Right.
I'd like to point out. I mean, there's people around calling Kylie the next Lexi Hall, and I think that's kind of ridiculous. I mean, Lexi Hall averaged almost 20 a game, and all but led her team to the national championship. I mean, I don't think Kylie's anywhere near Lexi Hall. And a 10-point performance against a subpar Purdue team is, I mean, why not have Callie play tonight when, everything is pretty much meaningless anyway. And Kylie's giving you 10 points. I mean, why not put her in tonight over Kylie?
Well, I mean, we skated by, so I don't know if I would have went that route because we don't have time to play. Not on somebody's home court. If it was at our house, maybe, but it just wasn't.
I mean,
I would have put her in the first half, not the second half.
Well, like I say, I mean, they couldn't have found 2, 3, 4 minutes somewhere along the way when they were up 25 to have her play some, or not really.
I agree. I would have put her in the first half. But again, the problem that you run into is that we could not, all of our post players were in foul trouble. So we were playing Layla and Tegan. So your options are limited at that point because 2 of the people that I said is already on the court. And then when we did put in Addie Deal, you saw what happened.
Yeah.
We lost our lead. So even if you would have put in her instead of Addie Deal, we probably still would have lost our lead. They cannot play together. So this game, unfortunately, was not a good game for that situation. But at the same point in time, like I said, I do agree that we should find something for her. This game, we just ain't have enough people.
Yeah, and you didn't hear me come out here
complaining
about it. You didn't hear me come out there and complaining about it today because I understand why they didn't do it. But sir,
I only brought it up because I don't call in very often, and I just wanted to bring it up while I was on the line with you guys.
Yeah, we appreciate you. Appreciate you calling in, sir. Please don't be a stranger.
No, absolutely not. I appreciate you guys. I watch you guys every time you're on, so.
We appreciate that. Have a great night, sir. Go Hawks.
Yep, thank you.
All right. A couple things. Hey, so this I don't know what it is. There's so many funny things about social media, Kachine. But I tweeted something out. I think it was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday, or maybe it was early this morning. No, it was yesterday. About
controversial stuff.
I don't tweet out about controversial stuff, but I tweeted out about the Hoiberg thing the day after it happened. And now 90% of the responses are from Nebraska fans. So what do you expect? But so many people, let it go. Old news. I'm like, bro, it happened last night. What are you talking about? Like, it was so
at like 11 p.m. at that. Like
Amanda, I think she's joking, but I love you. You're in the Discord. She says, friend, it was 2 nights ago. And then she says, at least he didn't ask about Emily. DJ Doug, why would anyone ask about Emily? I am going to ask about Emily the next opportunity I have because my question to Jan is going to be, I don't normally reveal these in advance of press conferences, but my question to Jan is going to be, Kachine, is there consideration? I think Kashine's frozen. Is there consideration at this point to giving Emily Rodriguez a medical red shirt? And if so, has that decision been made? I would have to think there's strong consideration to doing that, but have not had an opportunity to ask about it yet. Bo, thank you for the super chat. The lack of attendance at Mackey. So I don't know if this is in response to our debate about the run or what this was in response to, but thank you, Bo, for your super chat. D. Rolfson, same thing. Need a call from Annie from New York. We might be able to fulfill your request. We've got Kayla on the line. We're going to try to get Kachine back in. I'm sure Kachine wants to, or Kayla wants to talk to Kachine. So, and we got our phone line is full right now. So if you're trying to call in, please do so by means of StreamYard. It's the quickest way for you to get through. And Annie from New York is here with the super chat. She says, glad the Hawks won and didn't blow that 20-point lead. Absolutely, Annie. And we'll look forward to chatting with you hopefully here in a little bit. D. Rollifson adding this super chat. During the Illinois game, I'd rather the fans celebrate that we have chit-chat rather than tearing the Guytons down. Leave them alone. Thoughts? Well, it all sounds great, but like Kachine said, the reality is she's probably going to get some boos. I agree with her. It probably will not be to the extent that that Price got, what his reception was. And I'm not saying that in the perfect world you don't welcome everybody. I think in the perfect world you do. But I also believe that gamesmanship is part of travel, especially when you go on the road in this league. That's part of gamesmanship. It's already hard to play on the road, right? Teams are going to boo you. They're going to chant air balls. The students are going to get out of hand at times. But when you choose to transfer from a program and go to one of their biggest rivals, you are asking for that to happen. And that's what's happened with Price Sanford. So yeah, it'd be great to celebrate Chit Chat. I don't love the comparing Chit Chat to Aaliyah Guyton because, as Kachine has brought up so aptly in the past, there's a good chance, Chit Chat may have come here anyways because she came along with Lysandra Barrett, who was at Georgia Tech prior to her time at Iowa. Okay, let's see. Do we have Kachine back? We do not. So, yeah, I'm guessing her internet dumped out on us. So, Kayla, I promise if Kachine jumps back in here, we will add her in. And I know that I don't bring the expertise, but I did not want to keep you on hold for longer than I had to. So welcome back to the show, and apologies for the technical errors.
I had 2 questions, but one of them was actually the Aaliyah one. So you guys already got that.
Okay.
And I'll be in the student section Sunday and we'll be booing her. But
okay,
that's sports. So
is that, can I ask you, do you have a group of friends? Is there an organized effort? How do you know the student body as a whole will boo her? Has that been talked about?
I don't know they will. I know I will. And at least I'll tell my friends. Well, I have a friend who basically watches all the games, so I'm hoping I'll get her. I mean, it's just fun to boo everything, so.
Yeah. No judgment from me on that. And that was going to be my next question to you. What is the reasoning behind the boo? I'm not judging you at all. I just like to know from right now in 2026, the reason behind, and booing has gone on for a long time, right? But right now, things have changed with social media over the last 5 years. It's been a while since I'm thinking back to the Jared Utoff days and some of the other controversial transfers. So why boo in this day and age? Is it just because it gives you an excuse to boo somebody?
Yes. And also, it's just as a diehard Iowa fan since birth, it's like, if you're not with us, you're against us. So.
Okay, that's fine. That is totally fine. Now,
I mean, I thought it was weird that last year against USC, Juju was getting a lot of cheers from the crowd, which obviously is not the same thing, but I do think that'll be interesting to see if the crowd ends up cheering for her.
Can I ask you, you may have the answer to this, and it looks like we got Kachine back, so I'll add her in here in a second. Has Kylie gotten, why am I asking you this? I've been at the last 2 Cyhawk games in Ames. I don't believe Kylie has gotten booed when she's returned to
think so either.
Okay, well, let's add Kachine back in here. Kachine, I don't know if it's something I said or I don't know what the situation is, but my apologies in advance. So you're back. Thank you. We've got Kayla here, as you can see. Let me ask you that question since we're back on the booing topic. And Kayla said she is going to be booing Aaliyah vehemently when she comes into Carver. She didn't use those words. I'm paraphrasing, of course. But my question to you, Kachine, is why wasn't I don't remember Kylie getting booed. At least it wasn't noticeable to me the last 2 times Iowa has played in Hilton. Why might that be?
Did she play?
Of course she played. The last 2 times.
Listen, no. I mean, at Iowa State.
Yes, she played at Iowa State.
Like she was a factor at Iowa State.
Well, I mean,
I don't know her history at all.
We went there this year and she started.
I know she got injured.
No. Yep. Kayla, she's asking if she played at Iowa State. If she ever really played at Iowa State.
Yeah, because I remember watching Iowa versus Iowa State, Caitlin's freshman year, and she was starting for that game.
Okay.
I can't tell you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's I mean, if she started at all at Iowa State her freshman year, then
I mean anybody. I wish anybody would go to Iowa State then went to Iowa. What?
but there's really no. Well, you visited Ames, but there's really no difference. Well, that was a you decision. That's a you problem.
One and only time, never again.
Well,
I was smart.
Okay, but my point is, they're really. I'm trying to differentiate the difference between Kylie Feuerbach playing at Iowa State, transferring out, not getting booed at Hilton, Aaliyah Guyton playing 1 year at Iowa, not really starting, and transferring to Illinois. What's the difference?
I don't know.
I don't either. So I hope Kayla, I'm saying it to someone who's already said she's going to boo. I have no, as you heard me say earlier, I have no problem with booing.
I mean, why the hell did she transfer to Iowa besides we're better? But I know that. But like, why?
Why what?
Why did she transfer to Iowa from Iowa State?
I'm sure that's been written
She
about.
ever said that? A reason why?
Yeah,
or like,
I've never asked her the question, but yeah,
that's insanity, number one. But it's not here nor there.
What's insanity about transferring to Iowa from Iowa State? Adam
Or
Haluska,
vice versa.
Adam Haluska did it. Adam Haluska did it.
All weird.
Okay, well, I'm just saying it's been done. It's happened a lot over the years.
Well, not on the women's side.
The Thompson kid, what was his name? Played back during the Haluska. It was before your time.
They all sound like men that you're naming.
Okay. All right, Kachine, what you got for, or I'm sorry, Kayla, what do you got for Cash?
Okay, so jumping ahead to Michigan, Olivia Olson's obviously their best player, but Swords can get on a heater pretty quickly. Do you put Kylie on Olson or Swords? And do you change any of like how you defend ball screens to try and make sure to run Swords off the 3-point line as much as possible?
Number one, Kylie has to be on Olivia because Olivia is tall. She's over 6 feet, if I'm not mistaken. So that we don't have another option in the guard spot to guard her because she will take you down into the post as well. So we don't have a choice in that matter. Ball screens, yes. I think that don't let them use the screen, in my opinion. Whenever you have a shooter, there's two ways to do it. You're either going to trap the screen or you don't let her use it, which is what we call icing a ball screen. That's your only option. Unless that player is not a good passer in like the ball screen offense, then you could potentially play it, I'm going to say regular in that aspect, more flat. But yeah, you're going to have to make some adjustments based off of who you're playing for sure.
That was my only question. So hopefully we can get a win and I'll have something good to come as of Sunday.
Kayla, you boo all you can. Are they, remind me, folks, are they playing in Iowa City or is it at Michigan this Sunday?
Yeah, it's home for Michigan. It's senior night.
Wait a minute. Wait. This next game is senior night?
No.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah, actually it might be. You're right. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm looking at this.
I forgot what date it is right now.
Wow. So is that normal, Kachine, for them to have senior day before the final game at home?
It's going to be it should be your final home game.
It's not their final home game.
Which should be it should be Iowa, Illinois.
But it's not.
It's not?
I'm looking at the Iowa women's basketball schedule. Senior day is February 22nd, and then they have fan appreciation on Thursday, February 26th. Is that because the Michigan game's on a weekend and they want a weekend crowd for senior day? That seems odd.
That don't make no sense. You know what?
Yeah, I don't recall that happening.
Ever.
Yeah, I don't recall it happening. So that's surprising. Kayla, will you be at the game on Sunday?
Yes, I'll be leaving my apartment at 9 a.m. for those close spots.
Okay. Well, that's the game to boo because that's a really good Michigan team, as you aptly brought up. So, Kayla, what's that, Kachine?
The senior game is weird. Like, I don't know how that works. Like, your senior game is literally supposed to be your last game in Carver. So to have senior night and then have to play again is weird.
Yeah, could this be a misprint?
I mean, I understand the whole Sunday thing versus Thursday, but it's Iowa fans. They're gonna come out regardless.
Right.
Like, I don't know. That's weird. That's weird.
Yeah, I don't know. You said it's Kayla. You thought it was senior night, so I'm guessing this is not a misprint. If you
Yeah, they've showed it on like the Carver big screen many times. They show like all their promotions and stuff for the days.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't know that I remember that,
Yes.
but it seems like they normally get a final home game on a weekend. It seems like that normally happens, but with the schedule, Kachine was do you remember the senior nights that you
Listen, I'm about to go look because I'm like, I don't remember. Honestly, I don't remember. But that's puzzling is the word I would say. Only because that's just awkward.
I agree.
But I mean, hey, whatever. I guess they're free to do whatever they want to do, right? And I guess maybe they figured it's Michigan, so maybe they'll get more of a like, I don't know, a crowd or something. I don't
It's
know.
also on Fox too, which I don't know if that would really have anything to do with it, but
No.
I'm trying to remember the last. It feels like on the men's side, every recent senior day game has been a senior day game where they're playing on a weekend. Like I don't remember. Again, that's why I asked you, Kachine. You went through 4 of these when you were at Iowa. Do you remember one falling on a weeknight?
My senior night was on a weeknight. I know I'm not tripping. I was like, I thought it was on a Thursday, but I wasn't sure. We played Illinois on Thursday, February 24th. That was our last regular season game. Then we went to Indiana, and we played on a Thursday.
So
whatever.
We have to we have to address this comment. I believe this is Callie's dad who's commenting here. This is Nate and Tara Levine asking the question, Kayla, have you mentioned that you and Callie played together at Solon for years? Kayla was a baller. Is that haven't we asked you?
Hey, didn't we say you was a baller in softball and basketball? You was a multi-sport.
no, I stopped playing after freshman year.
So you're
in
telling
which sport?
But I did play with Callie ever since 2nd grade.
So you're telling me Nate, his definition of a baller is not your definition of a baller?
No.
Okay. Well, hey, you got a
Nate
shout out.
was my coach for all those years too, though.
Okay,
that's fun.
Well, we're glad that you're being modest, you're being humble. So we appreciate that, Kayla, and yeah, we appreciate you calling in. It's always a pleasure to hear from somebody in the student body, and get right down there in the court. You'll get a cameo, perhaps on Fox on Sunday.
Oh, I hope not, but
thanks, Kayla. Appreciate the phone call. I think her internet was kind of having some. I think it must be the snow here in the state of Iowa. You know, we're here in Ames. We're primed for like 6 to 8 inches overnight, and we've had 60-degree weather over the last week. So perhaps it's the snow that's doing everybody's internet. What happened to your internet here a few minutes ago?
I can't even tell you. The whole thing literally went out. I don't know what happened. And then I was like, okay. So then I kept trying, and then finally it came back on somehow. So I don't know. Maybe they are doing construction on our main road over there. So I hope they're not doing anything soon.
Richard says, was Kayla calling from Alaska? Well, yeah, again, it seems like thankfully I'm not the one having issues. Normally it's me. So that's an ironic thing. Okay, let's see. We've got Nate and or Tara. Thank you for the comment. We do appreciate you being here. Let's see here. We've got Erica with a super chat. Just curious, how did Kylie end up at Iowa? Well, we brought up. She transferred from Iowa State. The answer to why, I'd have to go back. It's been 4 years ago, 4.5 years. I think she redshirted the 1 year. That would have been like 2021. So you could probably find that, Erica, but she was at Iowa State, and did play at Iowa State during that time period.
Crazy.
JSC Hawk says, Cash, what positions are we due for when we hit the portal?
Aggressive driving guard who's bigger and a shooting forward.
All right. Okay. I just, when you say it, aggressive driving guard, I think Emily Rodriguez. And I say that because, what do you mean no?
No, because she's already on the team.
Okay, but part of the transfer portal cycle is
I'm not worried about who the transfer. If you're not in the portal, you're on the team, in my opinion. So I'm going with what is supposed to come back next year.
But there is such. I'm just saying there is such a thing as having to re-recruit your roster, and how much, NIL funding.
With or without her, we're still going to need that position.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. I do think, people who want to, the notion that she's just gone, maybe that's true. I mean, she was there today. She's traveling with the team. I do believe she's dealing with a back injury. But if there's a chance you could get her back, she's still got potentially 3. Well, she will. If she redshirts this year, takes a medical, she'll have 3 years of eligibility. I would absolutely love to have Emily Rodriguez back because she absolutely fills a major position of need. Now, if there's other stuff that's gone on off the court that we're not aware of that might impact, sustainability there, culture, all that, that's different. But I'm not aware of anything specific there. But from a player's perspective, a skill perspective, she would be a priority for me once even before that's the great thing about retaining players. You can re-recruit them before the portal window opens. You can't recruit other players by rule. I know. By rule. By rule.
I just want to make sure you understood what you said.
Yeah.
So, question. If everybody returns, how many scholarships do we have available, including the people that are signed with us?
You have to ask me that question, and
of course.
I'll find the answer to that question because
okay. Then I'll tell you my actual answer. Because I know we need a lot, but
So I believe, don't quote me on this, they have, as of right now, 4 open scholarships in 27. 26-27 season. The point is they have room to work with.
Yeah, I'm not thinking about that.
So.
Definitely. Oh, God,
and that's assuming nobody leaves. That's assuming nobody that is currently on the roster. That's assuming Tegan Mulaney stays put. That's assuming.
No, I'm assuming all of them stay put. That's why I said that. Because there's a couple things. One, I think we need a star player out of the portal. And that's going to be my first option. I don't care how it comes. I don't care if it's a 4, a 3, a 2. I don't care. One of them positions, whoever the star player is, I'll take them. Based off of whatever position they feel will be the other 2 positions I would take.
I'll say this, and we need to move along because I'm flabbergasted by the interaction. Not that the response on this show is always flabbergasted. The response on this show is always phenomenal, and the calls, the chats. Like we're way behind, and we were an hour and a half or hour and 20 minutes in. I did not expect that tonight. Now, part of that might be it was Big Ten Plus, so I'm sure some people didn't get to watch the game. But I decided against Purdue, maybe fan support would be for a post-game show. Might be a little. You kind of guess those things, but hey, I always underestimate Hawkeye fans. So appreciate everybody who's still here. We've got about 600 people watching in total. David Morris agrees with me. So hey, how about David? He's extending a hand of friendship to me when everybody else was on Cash's side.
What does he agree with?
I think it was our debate that we had.
Oh, okay.
This is the one example of somebody that agrees with me.
That's all right.
Kathy Haleman says, should Hayes have redshirted? No. Yeah, they still need her. They still need those minutes. They don't have enough. They don't have enough.
We don't even have a backup 5 like that. So no.
Right. They can't just, if you pull Hannah to the 5, like.
Then you ain't got no 4.
Exactly. They don't have enough front court depth. And VGS Hawk says, could Chit Chat possibly miss Hannah? Could that be affecting her?
Are they that close?
I just from a game planning, I don't know, camaraderie.
Hannah has no bearings on what Chit Chat does, so I would hope not.
Chev Yoda says, first half Strem high, second half Strem low.
That's hilarious.
All right, we've got Britt on the line. Britt, welcome to the show.
Hey guys, can you hear me okay?
We got you. Thanks for being here.
Oh, I remember Britt. You were another good caller.
It's a late night game, so I have some time and can ask some questions. Cash, I wanted to get your thoughts. I know you said that you wanted like another 4 for next year, maybe like a power guard. I want to get your thoughts on Journey because technically she is more of like a 2-3, or at least was in high school. She's made it kind of well known that she's not a 4. In Iowa's system moving forward, do you see her more on the wing? Or do you see her playing that kind of Kate Martin role in like her last year where she was a 3 or 4? And then I wanted to get your thoughts too on the press break in the last like 2 to 3 minutes where she was taking the ball out as a smaller 4 who's got some handles or ability to handle. Do you think it would have been beneficial to have her and maybe not bringing the ball in and maybe Ava or someone else of that, someone else on the court at that time to help break the press?
To answer your first question, I see her moving into the Kate Martin position.
Okay.
It's always very nice to have a player who can play that position like that. So I think that is probably the route that they should go in regards to that, because like I said before, her at the 3, with her playing the 4 this year and her going to be playing some 3 next year, that you have so many mismatches in that aspect that you can take advantage of. So I definitely see her being a 3-4 scenario. Because technically speaking, if you have a 4 that can shoot the 3, it doesn't really matter what she can do or not do. So if that makes sense.
Yeah.
In regards to your second question about the press break, funny thing, our press break is the same, right? Just swap out Journey and Hannah. Same situation, same everything. Sometimes, and I will say this, your press break does not change based off of who you have in the lineup. I know that sounds crazy to most people, but that is time that you don't have to be working on press breaks. Most people work on press breaks solely for a team that's going to be running press breaks, which is not something you run in practice every day. It's not. So you have maybe 1, 2 tops, right? In that scenario that you can run. If one isn't working, you go to the other one. But the 4, when especially in our offense in general, the 4 always takes the ball out of bounds. It's usually how it goes. The problem that we have is we only have one guard who is willing to take on a press, and that is Chit Chat. Kylie shies away from it. She don't want nothing to do with it. Taylor Stremlow, to a degree, is still not super comfortable with it. So what does that leave? It leaves the 4 player who has to bring the ball up because your guards don't want anything to do with it. Like I said, outside of Chit Chat. So it makes it hard in that aspect for her. I think she was kind of put in a tough spot today. But overall, like I said, I thought she handled it the way I would expect her to.
Also, can I just ask this question because I know it was asked in the chat, but they want to know if the Brit that's on the line is actually Brit Prince and if she's going to transfer to Iowa next year.
No. Any basketball player that wears their hair down like that is just nope. I can't do it. I can't do it.
You wouldn't welcome her with open arms to play at Iowa next year? I know I would.
It would be really hard for me to.
I would welcome Brit Prince with open arms. Given her skill set and given some of the needs Iowa's going to have, I'd take her. Wouldn't you, Kachine?
For the greater good, yes, but it would just be really hard for me to watch personally.
I understand. You feel like she represents other Brits unfairly.
Yes. Yep.
I don't mean to think about the girl hair, but what do y'all expect her to do? Her hair is like straw paper. Like what is she gonna put in a ponytail? Like her hair is so thin, like naturally. Like that's not no shade, but her hair is so thin. I think that's why she wears it down because like there's no weight to it.
You can't put thin hair and a ponytail? Just
I'm not
curious.
gonna say you can't, but it probably is gonna cause her some issues because it's gonna be too tight. Like I bet her hair. Like, listen, I've watched her since she was playing at AAU. I remember those days, and I remember being like, "Why would you wear your hair down?" But it never gets in her face like that.
Yeah.
It's because her hair is so thin. Like it's not stupid long either. You know what I'm saying? So like her hair is so thin, it has no like body in it at all. So I was like, okay, well, I guess that makes sense. She wears her headband so like the flyaways don't get in her face, but she doesn't have an issue because her hair is so thin. But again, like I said, if it works for her, it works for her. It makes her feel free. I know when I used to play with my hair doesn't do that, but I did a few times when I was in college, and it does feel freeing. I will say that. It does. It does. It does feel free. Not gonna lie.
I played basketball for a really long time.
I ain't
Never
mad
had
at
my
her.
hair down. Can't do it.
I ain't mad at her. Listen, she's free in the wind. She good to go. But yeah, I will absolutely take a reference for sure.
Yep. And then the last question I had for, I guess, both of you is just kind of previewing the matchup against Michigan. Key takeaways and maybe predictions.
Huge game, Kachine. I mean, you weighed on a little bit earlier with one of Kayla's questions, but I mean, just what are the keys to? And it is senior. I'm seeing the comments in the chat that kind of confirm what we had talked about. Kelly says that Jan has stated that basically she wanted it to be on the weekend. Fans would have to be there till 11 p.m. or midnight. Evan says, she wanted the senior day to be on a Sunday. I think
so
it's a little
unfortunate then, in my opinion.
Okay, well, there will be emotions Sunday regardless. So how do you channel those emotions and play well against a really honestly, I would rather it on against Illinois because I don't want the emotional factor at play against Michigan. I'd rather that and play against Illinois, but give us an idea, Kachine, of what the keys for Sunday are.
Well, let me talk about the emotional thing. It depends on the person. I think for some people it's fueling because you under no circumstances do you want to lose your last home game. Hence why I said this is weird because it's not your last home game. But
wait a minute, it's not their wait a minute. It's not their last home game either if they host. So what's the difference?
No, that don't count. That
why doesn't it count?
No. That's not what people talk about. I understand. We hosted as well when I was playing. That doesn't really count. Like when we say home game, we're talking about your regular season, like home game. Like this is your last Big Ten regular season scenario. Anything after that is just extra stuff. So again, it's not their last home game because they have another game after, but nonetheless. So it depends on the person as far as emotions go. Some people get tight, and then some people are like, oh, under no circumstances, we are winning this game, right? Kind of like think about the game last year against USC for Caitlin's big jersey retirement. They wanted to win for that. They had something behind it. They could have gotten tight, but they didn't. They played for that scenario. So it just depends on the people. As far as keys to the game, first things first, we have to guard a 3-point line. Our 3-point defense has to be on point, period. Or they're going to shoot us out of the gym, our own gym. Everything for us leads with defense. So if we are able to guard a 3-point line and we are playing good defense, everything else for us kind of trickles down. We have to own the boards, limit our turnovers, actually flip-flop those. Defensive 3-point line, turnovers, on the boards. Those 3 things are in play. I feel really good about our chances at that point in time. Because usually, like I said, everything else follows. You start to feel good about yourself, 3s start to fall, things like that. Our offense usually looks a lot better, looks fluid in that aspect. Those are the 3 things I would 100% say. I can't hear you.
Thank you. Olivia Olson is a sub 30% 3-point shooter on the season. What makes her so effective? Because she's the team's leading scorer, and she's also giving you 6 boards a game.
My former Minnesotan over there. First of all, we went to the same high school. Let's start there. But anywho, she broke all my records. I hate that for me. Anyways, just kidding. But I think for her, she's very crafty and actually very athletic, which is, I think, what surprised me the most about her throughout watching her career in high school and now in college, is she is sneaky athletic in that aspect. And she has a lot of height, and she finishes high with her jump shot, which is, I think, makes that a little bit hard to guard. And she has a very nice mid-range game, which is, we don't talk about the mid-range a lot. And when a player has a efficient mid-range game, they become a lot more dangerous, because that's not something you see every day. It's either three or rim in this day and age. And so for her, being athletic and having that mid-range game makes her very dangerous. And she's just tough, man. At the end of the day, she's just a tough player.
Anything else on Silo Swords?
I think Kayla said a little bit more about her in regards to her being able to heat it up. She's a little bit streaky, but at the same point in time, if you let her let it fly, it could be a problem. So for her, how tall is she, roughly?
Silo Swords is 6 foot.
Hell no. Okay.
They've got, I mean, Olsen and Swords, Olsen's 6'1", Swords is 6 foot, and then Mila Holloway is another guard. She's
I know her. Chit Chat's going to be guarding her.
That's going to be a chit chat assignment. Yeah.
Holloway is from North Carolina, if I'm not mistaken. She went to JC something.
Yeah, she's actually.
Anywho, yes, I know. I've seen her play. When I was coaching at JMU, I went down to watch her practice, so I know exactly who she is. But Chit Chat's going to be on Holloway. Taylor's going to have to be on Swords, and she's just going to have to not get hit by a screen. That's the one thing that scares the living daylights out of me, is because Taylor Stremlow tends to relax on defense, and she's going to get hit by a screen. So I'm hoping that she is on her P's and Q's and ready to go for that aspect. And then obviously Kylie is going to have to be on Olivia. She has to.
Yeah. And I think I think she could struggle with Olivia's physicality at times. Just, I mean, not that Kylie can't.
Because Kylie is a perimeter defender. She's not a post defender. And Olivia can do all things.
Yep. She'll
Absolutely.
Post.
So Kylie's going to have if I am Coach Barnes, I'm 1,000% running whatever play I got for Olivia to post up Kylie, for sure.
And the question was asked about their front court. And Britt, I promise I'm not trying to ignore you here. But Ashley, how do you know how to say her last name? Safilikinich. I don't know how you pronounce her last name, but she is giving them 8 and 4 a night on 59% shooting. But she plays under 20 minutes a game. But none of and she is 6'3", a junior out of New Jersey. But I'm looking up and down their roster, and most of their big time scorers are in the backcourt. I mean, obviously Olsen, Swords, Mila Holloway. I'm not going to try to pronounce a couple of these names. Tayala Delphos. Am I saying her name right? Some of these players I haven't watched, but Alyssa Crockett plays some at 6'2". So, but their strength is not in the post. They've got good length everywhere. They don't have,
but their strength is not in the post. For sure.
Yeah, they don't have a dominant big for sure. Britt, anything else?
No, I just wanted to kind of listen to you guys' breakdown before I hopped off. So I appreciate you guys' time, and I'll let you get to somebody else.
Thanks, Britt. Appreciate your call. Always enjoy hearing from you. All right. We've got a couple of people who have been on hold for a long time, Cash. So we're going to try to run through these calls as quickly as possible. Let's go to our phone line. Thank you for calling Iowa Postgame with Kachine Alexander. Who's on the line?
Hello.
Here. I'm convinced what happens, Kachine, is they put their phones down and they probably don't put it on speaker or they turn it way down. They're going to continue listening to our show on the TV or on a laptop or whatever, and then they don't know that they're on.
Until it catches up to them. Hello. I know it's gotten to you now. How long
All right,
have
let's
you
go
been
to
on?
our next call. Thank you for calling Iowa Postgame with Kachine. Who's on the line?
Hi, this is Danny from Florida.
Hey, Danny from Florida.
Just a second, let me turn this up.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Hey, I got a quick question for you.
Sure. We love quick questions.
Okay, I noticed that the women's team practices against men. Now, are they part of the team? Are they students at Iowa? And is that new in the Big Ten, or?
Well, you know what? We've got a former Iowa basketball player here with us. So, Kachine, explain this to Danny.
They are called practice squad guys. The entire NCAA does it, not just the Big Ten, and they have to be enrolled in as a full-time student at whatever school. So for us, they have to be full-time students at the University of Iowa to be a part of our practice squad. They do not travel with us, anything of the sort, but they do get the perks of gear, food, shoes, stuff like that.
Did you catch that, Danny? Or I know I'm still hearing an echo. Sounds like it's getting worse.
Hello?
Yeah. So
He said, "Hold on."
Every team in the Big Ten probably does this then.
Every team in America does it. Every Big Ten, SEC, ACC, everybody.
Okay. And don't you think that's really, really helpful? I mean, a man is faster than a woman. I mean, that's not being a racist. I mean,
sexist? No,
silly,
you're right. That's why we have them. The
Misogynist.
WNBA does it too, actually.
Oh, they do.
Yep.
Okay, fantastic. One quick comment. Kachine, has the University of Iowa tried to recruit your daughter yet?
I remember when I first had her, Coach Jay and Coach Bluter were joking about already their job was already done because she was already a Hawkeye, and I laughed.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I was just kidding you. It looks like your daughter.
Because by the time she get there, Bluter's clearly not there now. But Coach Jay probably ain't gonna be there by the time she get there. So
Juliana's 4, right?
She is 5 now.
Okay.
5. She's 5. Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
Fantastic. That's all I had. Thank
All right,
you
Danny.
so much.
Thank you, sir. All right, let's go back to our phone line. Thank you for calling Iowa Postgame with Kachine. Who's on the line? We're gonna call him back, Cash.
Yes.
All right. First of all, Bob says Purdue's comeback is totally on the coaches. Well, I sort of agree on the substitutions thing. To me, it lasted way too long. I don't agree. I am, as this thing goes forward, Cash, we're in year 2 of Jan.
Hello?
Hello, you're on the air with Kachine.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, we got you, Annie. Welcome.
Hi. Oh, this is Annie. How you guys doing?
We're good.
A couple of things I want to talk about real quick. I'm glad you addressed the press, the full court press, and I totally agree. It looks like Chit Chat's the only one who wants to take charge. She always ends up with the ball, and she gets double teamed. And I'm just surprised that they have trouble finding the open player. Because when I played ball in high school, our coach always told us that there's 2 people on you, find the open player. And they always look like they have trouble doing that. That just gives me such a conniption, especially when Purdue was cutting the lead like in half. I don't know. That the way they break that press just gives me a headache.
Well, I did see
I saw
somebody earlier, Annie, and this is a good opportunity to plug Big Grove's big play of the game, because Big Grove's big play of the game is Journey Houston's 3-point play to put them back up 14 with 6:29 to go in the fourth. But I did hear somebody earlier in the chat bring up how she struggled. Journey Houston struggled a little bit with that press. And Kachine, correct me if I'm wrong, but Hannah is a big part of breaking the press when she's available, correct?
She is.
So how important is it to get her back for Michigan? I don't know how much Michigan presses. Michigan State presses a lot, but was that a factor in some of the issues today? It seemed like Journey was a little uncomfortable, even inbounding the ball with pressure at times.
Yeah, I mean, one, she's a freshman. She's a freshman, and two, I think, she's Hannah's. Although we have our things with Hannah inbounding the ball as well, but at the same point in time, she is the older player that's seen it and has a better understanding of what needs to happen. So yeah.
They were giving me a headache. Honestly, when Purdue cut that 20-point lead in half and they were pressing, I'm just like, they look so unorganized out there. Set a few screens, come down and help the girls being double teamed. I think they got to work on that. I think anyway.
Sure.
And like you said, Stalky wasn't there to help out, and she's usually a part of that. So that could be.
Yeah, and it wasn't.
Problem.
I thought she did well though. Regardless, I thought Journey.
They did well. They held on to the lead, and I just wish they could bring the ball up a little smoother when they double team like that.
Journey played great, especially in the half court. As far as the press specifically, and let's not forget when Chit Chat was out and Taylor Stremlow was running the show back in November, they had some issues as well with pressure. And Chit Chat didn't play well tonight, so she was available, but she didn't play well.
No.
And then you take out another mainstay in Kachine and Hannah. It doesn't help. And Jan has talked about maybe a little bit hyperbolic. You rolled your eyes, Kachine. If I tell you, can I do something real quick? If I tell you in advance, Kachine, don't roll your eyes at what I'm about to say. Can you control it? Can you control it, Kachine?
Watch me.
All right, because here a few weeks ago, Jan Jensen compared the loss of Taylor McCabe to the Broncos losing quarterback Bo Nix. And I think that's a little bit hyperbolic, but I bring it up because it is a significant loss to lose somebody that's a senior guard, and that is going to affect you with turnovers, ball handling, breaking the press, etc. Annie.
Breaking the press. I see it on breaking the press. Yep. There's your problem. Well, one of the problems right there. We don't have McCabe. There you go. Another thing I got to ask you. Do you notice when Ava gets herself in foul trouble, a lot of her fouls are like reaching fouls, especially under the boards when the other 5-player has the ball already. She reaches in. Like they don't look like smart fouls.
All of her fouls are usually not good fouls.
Yeah, that's one thing that's got to get cleaned up, right? I mean, they just
she gets herself in foul trouble, and they're reaching in.
Yes,
you're not going to get away with a lot of that.
You know what? Owen Freeman had the same problem his freshman year at Iowa. Now that was his freshman year at Iowa, Annie, but he had the same problem. Stupid fouls. Stupid fouls.
I hate to use the word stupid. Thank you.
Well, that's what they are. I mean, it just.
But when they show the replay, the girl already has the ball. What are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm just glad you noticed that. She gets herself in foul trouble, and we need her, especially without Stalky.
Absolutely.
But anyway, that's where I'm at. I'm just glad they won and they didn't blow that 20-point lead. That's all I could say.
Well, Annie, we appreciate you calling in, and enjoy the big game, Senior Day on Sunday against Michigan.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Absolutely.
Thanks, have a good night, you guys. Thank you.
All right.
I'm overexcited over here. Ole Miss is beating LSU.
Are they really?
They sure are. 63-54 going into the fourth.
Wow. Okay, we'll keep our eyes on that. Let's we had Bo on the line a second ago, and Bo has since moved on. So, man, we're trying to get through these calls. So, Bo, I apologize for keeping you on hold. Barbara, her device is not connected. Barbara, we need your microphone connected in order to get you on the show. So, okay, there's Barbara. She's got that fixed. She is up next. Brian says Hannah is not the best player on the team. I never said that. What I said is she might be the most important Most important, maybe. I said might. Let's just recognize what's being said.
It's the top between her and Chit Chat. Go ahead.
And Ava's really important too.
I mean, I understand.
They're all really important in different ways for different reasons. That's we can just settle on that. 19 Hawks 76. Cash, is it Jan's decision for substitutions?
No idea.
I mean, ultimately the buck stops.
You can go either way. Some coaches let their assistant coaches do it. Some head coaches do all the substitutions, which I don't recommend. But yeah.
The buck stops with her though. If her assistants aren't subbing well, the buck stops with her. Ascent 77 says to be closer to her boyfriend. That's reportedly why Kylie
boyfriend
Feuerbach
was an Iowa Hawkeye.
Apparently, Kylie Feuerbach's boyfriend was at Iowa, and I know the comment was made earlier that Kylie did play with Caitlin for All Iowa Attack, etc., etc. REM Properties. Erica says, I remember when Cash was so mad last season when Kylie did senior day and then announced her return.
Next comment. You could have left that where it was. Okay.
Courtney says, what should be our game plan against Michigan? I think we covered that, Courtney. If not, please throw another question up there. Ascent 77, what exactly is a quad one win? Is it only certain games in the conference? So here's what a quad one win is, folks. If you beat a team that is in the top 30 of the net, okay, so you have to go look up the net ratings, the top 30 of the net. If you beat them at home, it's a quad one win. If you beat them on a neutral and they're in the top 50, let me rephrase that. I don't want to confuse people. If you if you play at home against a team that's 1 through 30 in the net rankings and you win or lose, it's a quad one game, right? If you're on a neutral court, for it to be a quad one win or loss, it would have to be a team somewhere between 1 and 50 in the net. If you're away, it has to be somewhere between 1 and 75. So obviously there's more value. The NCAA tournament committee values winning on the road. And so to have a quad one win at home, it better be a really good team. This game on Sunday is going to be a quad one win. I'll have to look at the net ratings to know that beating Michigan will be a quad one win. Now I'm curious what Purdue was today. My guess is they're probably quad two because it goes down from there, folks. You have quad one, quad two, quad three, quad four, and it's fluid, right? So a team could be a quad one win or loss early in the season when you play them, but by the end of the year, they're no longer a quad one game victory or loss for you on your resume. It's fluid. So it makes sense once you research it a little bit, but hopefully I'm explaining that marginally well. Sean Barnett, was coach emptying the bench early?
She didn't have
a bench.
Right. The bench was there was no bench.
Right. Eric says, why are you talking about Wisconsin? We don't play them next. When were we talking about Wisconsin?
When did we talk about Wisconsin?
I think I said something about Wisconsin. Maybe I misspoke. The men play Wisconsin Sunday. The women play Michigan Sunday. So that's what is happening. B-Rant 999. They also called Kylie Fishback multiple times.
Oh, that cracks me up.
That they did say that multiple times.
That cracks me up.
When they said it the first time, I'm like, I thought the kid was like, oh, he just misspoke. But then he said it a second time. I'm like, well, what's a fishback or fishback? Like, where does that even come from?
Oh my God, that was funny. I was like, huh?
That was good.
And he kept calling Ava not Hayden. I can't remember how he said it. It wasn't Hayden though. It was something else.
I will say,
okay, that's different.
Those kids were all right at times tonight. They were all right.
They weren't horrible. The names were, that was the only thing I was like, oh my God, get it together. But otherwise, whatever.
Mike says, are we going to talk about women's basketball anytime soon?
They're talking about it all the whole time.
That's right. Yeah, we
technically speaking, even though we were talking about Price, we were still talking about Iowa women's basketball because Aaliyah was part of it.
Yeah. Apparently we answered a mic on that. But Ryan says Big Ten officiating has always been a problem. They needed Paul Sells. He's tongue-in-cheek on this one. And Witten 12, Kachine, why don't you recommend that a coach make all substitution decisions? I think he's talking about a head coach.
Because I have way too many things to think about. And they cannot manage. They have to think about defense. They have to think about offense. They have to think about what's the next play. They have to think about everything. Mind you, Coach Jay or any head coach is not sitting with their staff. They're up a little bit, right? So they're not constantly in communication. So with that being said, a lot of the times head coaches, I've seen this so many times, they will forget a player sitting on the bench. And we have to physically go up and be like, hey, we got to get so-and-so in the game. She's still sitting here. And the coach will be like, oh, shoot. There's just so much going on that the last thing you want to do is have to worry about substitutions. And I believe, this is just my opinion, that the stronger you are in your assistant coach category, the better and easier it is for you as a head coach. Because if you have to monitor every single aspect of a basketball game, it's not going to work out in your favor. Something is going to fall to the wayside. Something. So you have to be able to give that. Whether you have an assistant coach who is calling all out of bounds plays, whether you have an assistant coach that is doing all substitutions, you break it down by position, whether you have someone that is whatever it is, right? Clearly, Abby, I know this for a fact. Abby is like a last second play writer. That's a fact. Every time we need a last second play, she's writing something on board. So that's clearly one of her jobs. But you can't have it all. You just can't. It's not feasible. And if you do, like I said, you're going to forget players are sitting where they're sitting. So yes, you're only as strong as your assistant coaches, in my opinion.
Kachine, do you have a few more minutes? I'm trying to go through here as quickly as possible. We are in overtime.
How many we got?
We have a few.
What's a few, Corey?
I got 4 on the line right now.
Rapid fire, go.
All right. Let's see. Mike, thank you for the super chat. Will Cece show up for Stalky on Sunday? That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. She won't. I'm sure she won't announce it if she does. She'll just be there. So we shall see on that one. All right, we got Barbara here. Barbara, welcome to the show. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, this is my first time on StreamYard.
Is it really?
Yeah, I think I only just called in once the whole time you've been on the show.
Well, anyway, we appreciate your support in a variety of ways. So thanks for calling in today.
Yeah, so I'm in my PJs, so I'm not showing my face.
It's okay.
Okay, you were just talking about the quad wins.
Yeah.
That prompted a question in my mind. So does the committee look at the time you played people, since it's so fluid, or it's at the end, it's how it ends up?
It's how it ends up.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
That's why if you beat
Go ahead.
somebody, like they could move. Yeah, like Iowa has 4 quad wins right now, but in a week they may only have 2 or 3.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
Yep.
Okay, so but what I really called about was I noticed that a lot of the players were really gassed, out of breath, and it led me to think about strength and conditioning. Do the women use different strength? Does every sport have its own strength and conditioning? There's my question. Coaches than the men. Do they have different ones?
So the women have a different strength coach than the men's basketball team, but there are different strength coaches for groups. So like the women's basketball strength coach might have women's basketball, women's volleyball, and golf or something. Throwing it out there, I don't know. Then the men's basketball team might have men's basketball, men's baseball, and something else, right?
Okay.
So there are like clusters, but men's and women's do not have the same one.
Right. And so then that led me to just think of someone like Bennett Sturtz, who never leaves the floor. I think they should figure out his system and train the women that way. Anyway, it was just a comment. It was supposed to be funny, you guys.
Well, I will tell you one thing.
Yeah.
Not everybody's capable of playing 40 minutes a game, no matter how good.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it's difficult. I don't know how he does it, but anyway, that's all I have.
Let me just say this real quick, Barbara. It was particularly impressive on Tuesday night because of the defense he was playing, just running.
That was insanity.
Unbelievable.
And here I am thinking he wasn't a good defensive player. Look at that. I was very impressed with him, but he had a chip on his shoulder. He was like, okay.
He is a good defensive player. He's not like some elite defensive player, but that's why he's a potential lottery. That's why he's a potential lottery.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. 6'7", 6'7".
No. Him playing 40 minutes a game and whatever. Him playing 40 minutes a game and being our whole offense Okay. And then having to go down the other end and run across the country with Price because he's running off screens left and right to get, open threes, which is what he's really good at. That's listen.
Yeah.
I think what we saw last night, Barbara, what I think we see, we better keep in check because Mike is going to get in the chat and tell us to stay on topic. But I think what we saw from Bennett Sturts last night is proof of why that's going to be a major game for scouts to go back and watch. Big time. And it wasn't his best shooting performance, but they're not going to care because the dude was bringing it in every fast. I also had 2 big blocks late in the game. So, no, good stuff, Barbara.
Yeah. Okay. Well, have a good night, everybody.
Thank you. Appreciate your call, Barbara. All right. Let's see. We've got Gruffy wants to know if maybe go zone against Michigan.
Wouldn't be my first option.
Okay. You think they can match up well enough? They better get Hannah back.
Match up as well in a zone.
They better get Hannah back.
Exactly.
And by the way, I did find that statement. The University of Iowa said it's upper body. They expect her to have a good chance of playing Sunday. Brandon wants to know why we put Miracle at Mackey. If you listen to the broadcast, you'll know why that was a tongue-in-cheek quote from somebody on the Big Ten Plus crew. You heard that, didn't you?
Along with
lead to like 10.
Mackey is going crazy. What?
Like this might be the Miracle at Mackey. And I'm like, I said I got to use it.
All 115 of you. Yes, they are going crazy. Yes, they are.
Oh man. All right, I was having too much fun with that. Bobby wants to know, do you put Hannah on one of the bigger guards and move Stremlow to the 4?
No, because I don't want Hannah getting in foul trouble. No.
Yeah. All right. And Mike.
But I like your idea, though, about the defensive situation. But I would prefer Hannah not being foul trouble. Maybe that's something they can go to later in the game or something when we know she's safe-ish.
Mike Nunn with the super chat. Is Flauger's stock dropping enough in the draft to go 10th?
No.
Why do you answer that so quickly? I don't know anything about the mock drafts right now.
She's a bucket. No, absolutely not.
Okay.
Her game in general is league bound.
Yep.
So no.
Let's go back to our phone line. Thank you for calling Iowa Postgame with Kachine Alexander. Who's on the line? Hello, you're on the air.
Ding, ding, ding.
Beep. Hey, you're welcome to our show. Who's on the line tonight? All right. Well, I'll try.
Ding, ding.
Next caller. Thank you for calling Iowa Postgame with Kachine Alexander. Who's on the line?
Hey, this is John again.
John,
Sorry.
Well, you're killing us, John. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
I
John.
know.
You're fine, John. Welcome back.
According to the internet, Kylie transferred to the University of Iowa because a better fit, up-tempo style, and the chance to play with Caitlin Clark.
Oh, well, those are two good
That
reasons.
makes a logical sense.
And now they're not playing up-tempo style. And there's no Caitlin Clark.
Who cares? She went to 2 Final Fours in national championship games. At this point, you wasn't doing that at Iowa State.
And she's a starter at one of the best Big Ten programs there is. So, yeah. Anything else, John?
All right. Well, yep. Like, subscribe, and join the Discord.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. And, yeah, join
that. Especially if you want quad 1 win intro stuff. We got a whole little spreadsheet.
Yes. So our guy, Tony, continues to update the spreadsheet. That was mentioned by Amanda earlier today. And it looks like, did we just get, we just got a text. We have a text line that I never promote. We just got a text into our text. We just got a text into our text line from the guy that just tried to call and couldn't hear anything. They say, and I quote, I watched Jan Jensen's show, and she said the reason why they're having the senior night on this Sunday is because of travel time for parents. So thank you, ma'am or sir, for calling in and trying to call in. I don't know why we couldn't hear you, but appreciate you texting into our text line. The reason I don't promote it,
that nobody knew we had. How does this person know we have a text line?
I don't know how they know.
What is happening?
Catherine, thank you for reminding everybody to hit the thumbs up button. Give us a 5-star review. Thank you, Catherine. And Bobby, we need more than 241 likes. If you're still watching, we got 471 people on YouTube, probably about 25 still on Twitter, although Twitter's having issues because it's not like it was. So interesting. I'm going to have to keep an eye on the Twitter feed. Hopefully you're getting this if you're on Twitter. All right, let's go to our next caller. We got Lomansky with us. Lomansky, welcome.
Cash, I don't give a rat's ass if I keep Corey up late, but I will get off of here if you need your beauty sleep.
I need my beauty. Can't you tell I need my beauty sleep? Go ahead, Lomansky.
Don't give me an open-end question. I could go on for minutes on that one.
I know.
I know that Cash is not going to sleep because she's watching this Ole Miss game.
We got to let her go so she can watch the Ole Miss game.
So her and I are both watching this sucker.
By the way, while you're watching it, let me just throw this up because I haven't done that yet today, and I know we need to. This is the final box score for Iowa Purdue with a 9-point win. You see 19 turnovers, Kachine. We haven't really talked a whole lot about that. Most of those had to come in the second half. Am I right? That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a crazy number. Second, let's look at first half stats. Is this first half? That's second period. First half stats, 6 for Iowa. 6 turnovers in the first half. That means they had 13 in the second. Way too many. Way too many in the second half for Iowa tonight. Go ahead, Lomansky.
Cash, what do you think of Mulkey's outfits? Like you could hang her on a Christmas tree tonight.
It's Kim Mulkey. I'm more surprised when she has a regular outfit on.
What would you wear?
Not that. I'm more like a Neil Ivy kind of dress.
Just a note.
And if anybody doesn't know who that is the head coach of Notre Dame.
Purdue outscored Iowa tonight. Iowa gave up 42 second half points and lost the second half by 10. Just for the record.
Cash, I don't think you've ever I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I wasn't saying anything. Go ahead.
Cash, I don't think you've ever rolled your eyes at me.
No.
There's a first for everything. There's a first time. There was at one time where she had never rolled her eyes at me, Lomansky. So there's a first for everything.
That was like my first one on here, but go ahead.
That's a bad thing to debate because I've seen her roll her eyes at you in a consistent Big Ten elite player rolling eyes at you.
I know. But sometimes she rolls eyes at things that I talk about that other people do or say.
That is very true.
That's not necessarily on me. I just bring it up.
I'm rolling my eyes at the messenger.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, way to like be a company voice there. I think that was a stretch, but
I'm sorry. My face has my face is not good. My face needs deliverance because
we are very
you can tell
similar.
exactly what I'm thinking right on my face.
We are very similar in that regard, Kachine.
Unfortunately,
your face is the key to the show, and it leads into the market.
I try to be not so expressive on the face, but it doesn't
work. Your fans love it. That deadpan guy next to you, that deadpan face, that journalistic can't show no expression face. You make the show with yours.
We do compliment each other very well.
I think I'm a little bit more expressive than you're giving me credit for, Lomansky. But go ahead.
Well, you might be
I was never. I will say I was never a poker player, but if I did, I'd be a pretty good one.
Okay, let's talk about
expressions when I try. Go ahead.
Let's talk about visual marketing, Corey. Do you notice how Cass changed her angle at her background? First, she was on the left side of her uniform, number 21. Now she's on the right side. When somebody calls in, you see the Cash jersey she wore in college, 21. People know she played at Iowa. She's got the Snuggie going on. You know, she's trying to get people to buy your merch, Corey. And then you've got your head.
She needs to have her own merch line, like a Cash exclusive.
Well, now
it used to be called KASH. That would be. Yeah. You ever thought of doing that? An apparel or clothing?
Like a little something like well, not like hers, but I need like something catchy, like shoot that chick. I need like something catchy. You know what I'm saying? Because that might be the most legit thing I've ever seen. Like, that's amazing. I don't know who came up with that, but that is like fantastic. So, anyways, but yeah. Starting here, I feel like, you know what?
Hey, you all remember this
day and age.
You all remember the really lame jingle that I created for Addison O'Grady last year, right? Right? You guys remember that?
Let us know. I don't.
I'm not doing it again because I'm going to get an eye roll. But when I went through it last year, it was
do it. We want to hear it.
It was the O'Grady. Don't you remember that?
Auto parts.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Now I'm like, whenever I go to an O'Reilly Auto Parts, I expect to see her in a green in a green uniform. I have another one, but I'm not going to share it right now. I'll share it on the Discord. I'm going to tease it. I got one for the men's team this year, Lemansky, but I'm going to share it on the Discord. We're all on the Discord, so if people want to hear it, they can go over.
You know what, though? That year, we were, like, real heavy into, like, nicknames. Like, even with everybody had a nickname, I feel like. You had Molly had a nickname.
Headband.
Yeah, Headband Molly. And then, what's her name? She's on the coaching staff now. What is her name?
Sydney. It's never her.
Sydney and Falter. She had a few nicknames.
Said the kid.
Like,
yeah.
Everybody had a nickname.
Yeah.
We got to get back.
All right, Lemansky. Anything else, sir? You said you were going to let Cash go to bed, so.
Well, I know she's not going to go to bed till this Ole Miss game's over. It's 3 minutes left, and
it's getting good. It's 69. Oh.
Well, let her go so she can watch it.
3 minutes.
I like her too much. Now, if you were here and she wasn't there, I'd hang up. But I enjoy her so much that.
Well, I'm too nice to boot you off, Lemansky. So.
Boy, your fans didn't like that one.
Corey. Anybody else on the line?
No.
Okay,
Lemansky's gonna kill the show.
Last
right?
caller.
We're like our viewership is dropping by the hundreds, so it's all right. It's good that we're at the end.
Ooh, I apologize.
Don't apologize.
We got a super chat here from Clyde. Says, whatever happened to the Strem Show spin move? I've seen it once, and it's one of the all-time greats. My guess is maybe that got coached out of her. I don't know. We haven't seen it this year, have we?
I mean, y'all didn't like nobody's spin move, so why would she do it?
Yeah, Emily's spin move became a running joke, which I love.
Right. My girl said, no, thank you.
I love the aggression. So, anyways. All right, Lemansky.
If you think this is wrong, chat, tell me, but how do you grade Chit Chat tonight? Because I love her assist, so I give her a passing grade tonight because of her assist and her being a general on the floor. And people talked about and rightly so. She had an off night. Corey's correct. It was not a typical night for her, but for me, if I was coaching her, I'm going to give her a high five and say, "Good job. You'll stroke it next game." What do you think?
So they say C's get degrees. She ain't get her diploma today. She probably would have been like a D+ for me. I think there were a few. Again, I'm only giving her that because one, I like the fight that she kept going. She had a 7 assist, I think it was today.
6.7.
But with the not being able to shoot right, the missed free throws, it was like
3 turnovers.
Yeah, like and her turnovers were like, I'm not gonna say in crunch time, but you know what I mean. Like it was in that press, and I was like, "Girl, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?" So yeah, she's probably like a D-, D+, C-, the highest today. Still my girl though.
Hopefully that
we all have those days.
Lemansky's over here talking when he's not even on the air. Lemansky, are you talking to yourself or are you trying to talk to us?
You can't hear me.
Now I can hear you.
Oh, it must be my mic. I said, if we don't have Chit Chat, we lose by 15. We'll turn the ball over. They'll score
1,000%.
So
yeah.
I'm not quite as hard a grader on her because we have such a void in that department. But thanks for putting up with me, Corey. I appreciate that you're tolerant of my time because your whole audience is like, crap. Cut him off. Have a good
I
night.
don't see any of that. So thank you, Lemansky. Appreciate the call. Clyde, thank you so much for your super chat. We appreciate that. And Witten12 says this post-game show really beats the stuff you get on the TV network. So very much appreciate that. Kachine, thanks for being so patient tonight and for hanging out. This was the miracle at Mackey, as the Big 10+ announcers called it. The miracle at Mackey. The 13th ranked Hawkeyes, all in good fun, folks. They defeat unranked Purdue 83-74 in spite of holding a 26-point lead earlier in the game. Big Grove Brewery is the official craft brewery of the Hawkeyes. Visit biggrove.com to check out what they have to offer at their taproom locations down in Des Moines, Iowa City, Cedar Rapids, Solon, now in Omaha. Great beer, great time, great food. Everything is phenomenal, and great people supporting this show and your Hawkeyes. Again, Big Grove Brewery, the official craft brewery of the Hawkeyes and the official watch party headquarters of the Hawkeyes. Visit biggrove.com. The Hawkeyes will be back in action this coming this coming Sunday, excuse me. By the way, Big Grove's big play of the game, we covered this earlier, but Journey Houston's 3-point play, she made several big plays when that run was happening for the Boilers, and Iowa needed all of them to stave off that run in West Lafayette. But they'll be back in action on Sunday to take on the Michigan Wolverines at 11 a.m. Central Time on Fox. We'll have post-game coverage. It's going to be a full day. You got women's hoops at 11 a.m., men's hoops, massive game up in Madison against the Badgers at 3 p.m., and then Iowa-Oklahoma State wrestling, always a massive duel to finish the regular season for men's wrestling. That will be at 5 p.m. I believe, let me just confirm the TV for that. I'm guessing that is Big Ten Network. No, ESPN. So they'll be at Oklahoma State in Stillwater at Gallagher-Iba Arena, 5 p.m. Central Time, ESPN, and we will have post-duel coverage. So a big, big weekend in store, big Sunday in store for everybody. Folks, thank you for being here. Cash, thank you for being here. For Kachine Alexander, I'm Corey Bratta from the Hawkeye of the Storm. Please hit that like button on your way out. Give us a 5-star rating on your podcast platform. Join our Discord. Links are in our description, instructions scrolling across the bottom of your screen. Have a great night. We will talk to you soon.